It's hard not to get excited. What a player he is, and just start off the bat, what a great teammate so far. He's eager to learn. He's great with the guys in the locker room, and we just look forward to playing with a guy of that caliber. And I know he's been a great player in this league. I think Steph provided it for us last year, and there's been guys that are growing in their roles, but just coming in with that stature and his ability and his size, and just the respect that you walk in there with that kind of Steph had. AJ's got it too.
Haven't seen any difference from when he was back to Tennessee in his first couple years in the league, and just my 10-game stint in Philly. Same guy to go up and make plays, one-on-one nightmare for defenses. So phenomenal guy. Just happy he's my teammate again.
Drake Maye and then Kevin Byard. The last time we heard from Byard, it was a couple of weeks before the trade even happened, and it was just so funny how everyone was talking openly like it was going to occur. I mean, this was one of the worst-kept secrets we've ever seen as it relates to a trade, and then the trade happens, and there's still that lingering question of whether or not the Patriots gave up too much, because what the hell else were the Eagles going to do? That's the point we didn't make last segment. There was no way they were going to bring A.J. Brown back, and there was no one else standing in line to try to trade for him. The fact that they got a 1 and a 5 under those circumstances is amazing, and it's still possibly, we were saying this yesterday, it's still possibly a win-win if he does in New England what he did in Philadelphia. But the Patriots could have driven a harder bargain, potentially, than they did, because at the end of the day, what were the Eagles going to do? They weren't going to bring him back.
Yeah, the Patriots could have played this game, and I wonder if it would have worked out in their favor. They should have talked to Mike Florio about, hey, how do you approach buying cars? A car that you really want. Well, I never let them know that I really want it, and I'm willing to walk away from it. So if the Patriots had said, no, we're not going to give you a first, we're just not going to do it. Now, what Philadelphia would have done, clearly, because they wanted to get rid of A.J. Brown, they would have said, okay, well, we're going to open it up to the rest of the league. Now the market is a second. If you're not going to give me, no one gives me a first, how about a second? So now, instead of having one suitor for your first, maybe you have 7 suitors who say, hey, I wouldn't give up a first for A.J. Brown. I'll give up a second. And you might not wind up with the guy because now you have competition that you didn't have before. So you can look at it both ways. One, the Patriots gave up too much, but if they had driven a harder bargain, then that would have opened it up to more suitors, and maybe you don't get the player that you want. And I think just the context for the Patriots, they've been looking for a number one receiver for years. A number one receiver like this. You could argue that they haven't had one since Randy Moss left in 2010, a guy of this caliber. And so they tried to get Chris Godwin. They tried to get Brandon Ayuk. They tried to get Calvin Ridley. And they finally, I just think organizationally, said, we got to get one of those guys. And they did overpay for him, but now they have A.J. Brown and the Eagles don't.
The one piece of leverage the Eagles had was the ability to slam the brakes on the trade as of June 1 and keep A.J. Brown from participating in the offseason program. There's value in having A.J. Brown there for mostly 3 weeks to start to learn the Josh McDaniels offense. Ben Volen of the Globe has raised the obvious point, but I don't know how much it was a factor that getting the deal done helped turn the page on the Mike Vrabel, Diana Rossini situation. And, at some level, Michael, and I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole, but there were a lot of Eagles fans that were raising the question of tampering and whether and to what extent there was collusion between Vrabel and Rossini, with Rossini's reporting trying to lay the foundation for the best possible trade terms. And we went back and found some reports from her when the Titans traded for Julio Jones in 2021. And she put out there that the Falcons already had a first-round pick in hand. Well, to your point, first versus second, anybody out there that was inclined to offer a second isn't going to bother if the Falcons are holding a 1. And then the Titans swoop in after Rossini reported that they were a long shot to trade for Jones. They swoop in and they get him for a second-round pick. I just wonder whether or not the Patriots were willing to overpay a little bit to not get themselves into a tampering jackpot with the Eagles. We We don't know, but it would explain the willingness when you don't have to give up a 1 and a 5 for a guy that the Eagles aren't going to keep, and there isn't anyone else banging down the door to get him, and he doesn't want to go anywhere else. It would help explain why the Patriots held their nose and took their medicine.
The one I can understand, based on what I just said about the Patriots and how they've struggled to get a number one receiver, and we've seen what those number ones do for quarterbacks. We saw what A.J. Brown did for Jalen Hurts. We saw what Steph Diggs in his prime did for Josh Allen. And it happens. These number ones really can elevate your quarterback. All right, so the one I get. What I don't get is the fifth. Why'd you throw in a fifth? You didn't have to do that, did you? It's if you're Elliott Wolf and Mike Vrabel and you say, okay, I'm going to give you the first, but we're not going to give you a fifth, is Howie Roseman going to say, no, deal's off. No deal without a fifth-round pick. And then you come back and you explain to the media, hey, why didn't that A.J. Brown trade happen? Because I insisted on a fifth-round pick in 2027. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I don't understand why the Patriots gave up that fifth-rounder. I can make a case for a first. Fifth, it doesn't make sense.
I think the fifth was just get it done when it was done and get him in the building. That's the extra cost of getting him now. But regardless, he's there. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.